We are live. Welcome, everyone, to the Hannibal's Hunger YouTube channel. You already know who I am, Hannibal. And I tell you, we have a lot of people, good amount of people in the chat already. I just want to say hi to everyone real quick. I know I saw Pedro in there, late nights, hustles and grind. What's up? What's up here? Christine, Rogers, a lot of people here already. Truly, truly appreciate it. I know you could have been anywhere on this Friday night, but you decided to come in here and talk to, or listen to me. And there's some a guest that I have is probably a is a very important guest. And I tell you, we haven't seen this dude in a while. And or at least me, we miss his passion, we miss his energy, his commitment to help drivers, help independent contractors, um, you know, a real advocate for gig work, man. A real advocate for gig work. And I must say, very, very excited to bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel UDM. What's going on, boy?
What's up, man? What's up? What's up? Yeah, I'm
How are
glad to be
you?
here, man.
Awesome. I really appreciate everything that you told, you helped me a lot. Just when I was starting out with this YouTube stuff, and you drop a comment saying you watch my stuff, it really, really appreciate it. And like, when I when I started doing gig work, right? Like for real, not just like part time, like full time. I went on the internet, went on YouTube, and then somehow I came across your channel, and you helped me a lot. And I think you helped so many people. I think you've helped probably thousands at this point. So really appreciate you coming on to the show and talking to me. But the question that everyone's asking: how are you doing? How are you doing physically? How are you doing mentally? How are you doing spiritually? How are you doing?
Well, I will say that everything got heightened a bit, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, everything. At some point, I felt a little bit unstable because of this whole situation. And emotionally, my kids, my family, they were really expressing a lot of emotion, and I really do feel like this experience really did something to me. If anything, I've shed more tears in the last month than I have my entire life. So just hearing how my family felt, my sons, how they like my older one, he was expressing certain things that I never expected. That really made me emotional, and it affected me mentally. To be honest with you, I can't even lie.
It Like you said, you contracted COVID, and then you were seemed like you were. Well, actually, you know what? Let me. I guess I'll let you take the floor on this one. From the beginning, how what exactly happened?
Okay, so um, finding out everything that I did after the fact, it changed my mind about how I contracted COVID from the very beginning. There was a lot of things going around, like oh, I'm sorry about that. I forgot to put
No
my
problem.
phone on do not disturb.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
All right. So just getting right into it. At first, my stepdaughter tested positive, but her father tested positive, and then he called me and basically said like, hey, keep her away. Like, if can you do me a favor, go pick her up from school when it was his time.
Right. Right.
But I didn't know that she would have been positive, you know.
Mm,
So it's like finding out she was positive. When we found that out, we immediately, actually, before we found out that she was positive, when we found out he was positive, we immediately got her tested.
mm-hmm.
So when we got her tested, we found out she was positive. But that day that we found out she was positive, I went to go get tested and I came back negative. But
Mm,
that night, I experienced the scratchy throat. It wasn't sore, but
mm,
I experienced like my body just didn't feel right. I didn't feel right at all.
right.
So I ended my day early because I was working that day. So I came home. I told the wife, I said, babe, I don't feel good, and so on and so forth. And next thing you know, I caught a fever. But I did not test positive until that Monday. That was a Saturday. I tested negative. Then Sunday passed. I'm sick already. I'm dealing with a fever. Then
Right.
Monday, I go get tested and I test positive. And when I tested positive, I didn't experience what a lot of people experience, like the loss of smell, the loss of taste. I didn't experience any of that. The only
Yeah.
thing I was dealing with was a fever. That was
Yeah.
it. And you can catch a fever for anything nowadays. But go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you got tested and you had the fever, in your mind, did you think it could have been COVID, or it was maybe just feeling under the weather, just typical, like sick? You're just sick.
I knew it was, I knew that I wasn't getting much rest. I was doing the show. I was doing some late night, a lot of late night stuff that didn't involve like a live stream or a video. I knew
Mm.
I wasn't getting much rest. So I felt like my body was telling me like, yo, time to go to bed.
Right. Right.
you know,
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
time to get some rest, bro, because you've been
Yeah.
at it all week.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens like that. But this one time, it was just like, nah, I couldn't get rid of this fever. I couldn't break it. So that's why I went to go get tested that Monday.
Yeah. And you got tested, and it was positive. Did you have a plan on, if I get it, I'm gonna do A, B, and C, or it was kind of like, all right, well, let's just figure this out. Like, what was your mindset when you was like, okay, I'm positive for COVID?
Well, going back to when the pandemic first started, I took a week off and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. But then when I decided to go back out to work, I said, if I get it, we'll deal with it then. Right.
Okay.
So I never really had a plan because I didn't understand what I would be dealing with
Mm-hmm.
physically.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know what people were saying online and on YouTube videos and stuff like that. I know what people were saying, but it's like there were so many different symptoms and everyone was experiencing such different things. I don't know what I was gonna experience. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, eh, did I really have a plan on how I would deal with this? The only plan I had was if I catch it, the family is gone. Y'all not
Right.
staying around me. That's the only plan I had.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want them around me. I don't want them to catch this thing at all. That's the only plan I had all through 2020, 2021, and that was it. But
Yeah.
when I caught it, when I tested positive, the family was gone.
Yeah.
That was so the only person that was here was the wife, but she didn't want to leave me alone because of this fever that I was battling, because the
Mm-hmm.
fever would not break at all. So
Yeah.
she was terrified. I was trying to keep myself together and just trying to just deal with it.
Yeah, I hear you. Just on just intro Milton Technologies with the super chat. I really appreciate two of my favorite YouTubers. Just for someone to even say I'm a favorite YouTuber of me, that's crazy. But I appreciate that, Milton. Really, really appreciate it. Just real quick, is anyone else experiencing an echo? PSA, the echo is bad. I'm not sure if anyone else is experiencing an echo. Let me know. Maybe it's something on my end. Everything is pretty much. I mean, everything sounds good on my. Oh, there is an echo. Okay, so let me see if I can figure something in chat. Let me know if it's it. Well, someone says yes, someone says no. Who's the echo? Me or UDM? So maybe I can figure out what. Okay, let me click
Is it
this.
me?
Let's see. Oh, someone says, oh, okay. All right. So right now, we're doing a democratic thing. Most people are saying no, so we're gonna go ahead with it. Okay.
Kick Rock says refresh and you're good.
Refresh. I think for somebody else, because I refreshed it, and I think I'm out of the rooms. I think so. I'm not sure, but if it's still, if UDM, okay. I think I hear maybe a little bit, but it sounds pretty good to me.
I know in the room that I am currently is
Mm.
it's the reverb, the tile on the
Yeah,
floor, the walls and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, 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 yeah. But
But is
I
there
hear you
like
pretty good.
a echo?
I think, well, everyone says something little, says, oh, well, maybe it's my computer. It's fine. All right. So we'll just keep going. So you have it, and I know when you first posted, you was like, hey, I'm doing some island remedies. I'm gonna just sweat it out, kind of just deal with it, because that's usually a lot of people who contracted to kind of just, hey, let me just stay home and rest up and do the vitamin C, whatever. So tell me, what were you taking when you realized you was positive and you got the family out there? What were you doing?
Well, the first thing that came, well, was a conversation with my parents. My father, he decided to send me some, and I don't even want to say some of this stuff, man, because it's like, I don't want people to feel like they can take this stuff or whatever, but the
I,
number
I,
one the
mm,
number one thing, I will say, consult with your doctor. Consult with your doctor. Whatever
mm-hmm,
you hear me say, consult with your doctor before you decide to take any of it. Okay, if you
mm-hmm,
decide to take it. But one thing I did know was turmeric, however you want to pronounce it,
yeah,
is good for inflammation. And if inflammation was the problem inside of the lungs, I was like, I'm gonna drink a lot of turmeric.
mm,
I'm going to take a lot of that. I didn't take the pills. I drank some tea that was mixed with a little bit of lemon, a little bit of different things.
right,
And that caused a lot of that mucus and stuff to come up, often. But a lot of my other issues that I was dealing with, I didn't really understand how it affected my body, not just with the stuff that's coming up, like the typical flu or the cold or whatever. Like, there was so many other things that really caused me to end up in the hospital. But we could go into that. But as far as like what I took, was my father sent me something they call Buckley's. Buckley's is nasty.
oh, is that is that
Okay.
is that cough medicine, right? Oh, I know what you're talking
Yes.
about. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Buckley's is nasty. He sent me a bunch of turmeric, the actual root that was grown in a garden versus going
Mm,
to the store. Sent me some lemongrass, sent me a bunch of different bushes and stuff that I had to boil and drink. Um, and then there were also, like, the prescriptions from the doctor. The first ER visit here, they gave me an inhaler. All my life I never had to deal with asthma, but they gave me an inhaler for me to open up my lungs. I'm like, wow, I'm I must have asthma. It's
yeah.
just a lot of things came for this, man.
Yeah, so your symptoms were just the breathing issues. You were having issues breathing. Was that
No,
no?
not until I got to my peak. The
Mm,
peak of when I was the most contagious, that's when my breathing was an issue. But I could go up the stairs, I could run up and down the stairs, and it wasn't a breathing issue. When I spoke too long, like, I wouldn't be able to have a long conversation without having a moment where I need to try to catch my breath. You know,
wow.
it's like
Yeah,
it, but that's because the mucus will be trying to come up at the same time when I'm speaking.
yeah.
So it's like I would have to either put the person on hold and then try to, I don't even know how to explain it, man, but it's like it was a mixture between trying to get the mucus up and then coughing, trying to hold the cough back or trying to cough. It was a mixture of many different things, but it would take me a while, sometimes 10 to 30 seconds, to just catch myself for me to be able to talk again. So
And
it got better.
in terms of, I guess, going through, you know, we COVID is such a crazy thing where it affects people differently, right? Like there's people who actually
Mhm.
catch it and they have no symptoms. They don't even know they had it. And then there's
Right.
people who have COVID and even after they recover, still have lingering effects. It's just weird how it just hits everyone a little different. And obviously the most, tragic and, part is like some people who have it and they're hospitalized or worse. So that ER visit, like, take me through your mindset of exactly like okay, when you decided, okay, I gotta, this is not working, I gotta go to the hospital. You know, obviously your wife is there to, was your wife there to help when you went to
Yeah,
the ER for the
she
first time?
was.
Yeah.
She was every ER trip. She never left my side until she had to go deal with the kids. Like
Mm-hmm.
she even took some. She tried to take some time off from work, but then there were times where they said no, you got to come to work. You know. So she was. That's the only time she was away from me when she had
Mm-hmm.
to either deal with the kids, like the kids. Anything that was going on with the kids at the in-laws' house, or she had to be at work, you know. But she was always spending the night here with me. Um, she was always checking up on me throughout the day when she had to be gone for a couple of hours. And
Yeah.
yeah, so the
So that,
first ER visit,
yeah.
the first ER visit, it was it was because of my temperature. It was like I thought when I got there my body was aching. It was that kind of sore pain. It wasn't just like I, I feel stiff or anything. It was like my body was like, say you do a couple of reps of anything and your muscles like sore while you're in the middle of trying to get your last few reps in. It's like that's the kind of burning sensation that my muscles in my back, my neck, like my traps,
Mm-hmm.
uh like different parts of my body. Like the first night, I could not sleep in my bed. I had to sleep on the hard floor.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my back was hurting so bad, I had to sleep on the floor. And sleeping
Mm-hmm.
on the floor, even if it wasn't uncomfortable, it was comfortable. You know,
Just,
it's like the
yeah.
pain I was dealing with my back. I'd rather sleep on the floor. So the ER visit was just for my temperature. The first one, it was for my temperature. And I was in a lot of that pain, that muscular pain that I was like, what the hell is going on? I couldn't sit still because I was trying to find some level of just being comfortable because I could not find it at all because my
Mm-hmm.
muscles, my back, everything was just hurting. And I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna say I'm not gonna mention the hospital's name, but they treated me really bad. The experience I had was a really bad experience. They took me
Yeah.
to a back room and the bed was too small.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they never came in. They took hours to come and check up on me.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I was yelling out, "Help! Come, please, somebody!" And I didn't get checked on for like 3 hours. It was a
Did
I
did
felt
they
neglected, bro.
did they ever tell you why? Were they busy? Was it packed? Was it something, or it was just an incompetent situation that you were in?
I was being considerate because I know with these times they don't have many beds. So I understand that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of and some of the staff they're becoming travel nurses and they're probably like overwhelmed, right? So I was trying to be considerate
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't complaining about the bed size. I was too tall for the bed. I'm 6'1", but the bed might have been for someone that was like 5'4". It
Damn.
was a small bed. I'm not exaggerating at all. And
Yeah.
when the nurse finally came in, I'll never forget this. I was like, I was calling, I'm in pain and this and that. And I'm trying to figure out, like, can I get can I get a different bed? Is there a way to extend this bed? Something. I was like, I'm in so much pain. And the nurse was like, you just gonna have to deal with it. So I was like, damn.
Damn.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. It
yeah.
was a young guy. It was a young guy. I later on, when I left that night, I saw him. It just seemed like, he didn't care. It's like, one of those people that they get into a field or career, but they're just doing it for the money. They don't really care about
Yeah.
what the typical person that's getting into it cares about. Like they say, if you get into nursing, you become a doctor, you want to take care of people, right? But in this case, it seemed as if this particular nurse was just in it for the money,
Yeah.
and that was a really bad experience at that hospital. I didn't go back there though.
Yeah. And you was how long you were there for the first visit, for the first ER visit?
Because of how long they took to come and come and check up on me and see what I needed or anything like that. They did give me medication to battle the fever. They gave me some Tylenol, but I was there till I think about 4 a.m., 4, 5 a.m.
Mhm.
And I went in maybe like around 11.
Yeah.
So the length of time, it probably shouldn't even have been that length of time if they had just, got my fever down and they checked on me sooner. You know, I mean, I probably could have been out of there a lot earlier.
Yeah. I know some people in the chat, guess addressing like, nurses are overworked. There's
Yeah,
a lot of issues, but at the same time, you still have to have a level of humanity and empathy towards people that you're
yeah,
taking care of. Regardless, you could say flat out to the patient, "Hey, we're in a really bad situation. We're not out of beds. We're sorry." That just some
yeah,
words can make a better situation. Could be make it a better, like to a point where you could, yeah, you're in pain and it's not a good situation, but you could say, hey, I understand because of the situation. So
yeah.
that's unfortunate. So like you went back to the hospital or when you went back home, I remember you posted, you said you felt a little better. I may be mistaken. So how you felt when you left and you had, like you got some meds and you was able to go back home?
Well, that particular hospital, they gave me a prescription that I did not end up going to get. The reason why I didn't go get it is because when the wife, I guess when she looked into it, that particular meds was going to cost me $500, and I was like,
Mm,
what? So I didn't want to go get. I'm like, $500? I gotta
mm,
come out of pocket $500, and I'm gonna be out of work, and I don't have a savings for COVID. And I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
I have some money, but it's not savings for this situation. So I'm
Mm,
like, I ain't spending no $500 on this, and I don't even want to call it meds. I don't even want to say what the meds is, but it's like I was like, it's just supposed to help get the stuff out of my system. Nah, I'm not going to get that. I'm
mm,
drinking turmeric. This is
right.
doing fine.
Yeah.
You know. So I didn't go get what they prescribed. Um, but after I came home, the biggest thing at that time was the fever. The fever was my fight, and it would break for a little bit, then it would come back. You know, but my biggest fight was the fever. So the first ER visit was the fever. They gave me Tylenol. I broke the fever. The second ER visit was a fever again.
Right.
But this time it was a different hospital. They treated me a lot better. This is the
Mm,
hospital that gave me the inhaler. They asked me
mm.
questions. They gave me a bigger bed, even if they didn't know about the previous situation. They gave me meds to deal with a call. Then the last. At least I
Okay.
felt like, okay, cool. They're helping me fight this thing.
Most definitely. Just that feeling helps people get better. You know what I mean? Like the people who are taking care of me are fighting to make sure I'm all right. Like that is a big thing. We asked
Yeah.
some questions in the chat. How high did your fever get? That just like they said it went back and forth. How high did it get?
Well, the highest my fever got was 103.2 or
Mm,
something around there. That was the highest fever. But every other fever, when I hit 99, when I hit 100,
mm-hmm,
because the type of thermometer we have was basically the one for the infants. You put them on the forehead.
mm,
That's the kind that we had, but we didn't really understand the importance of having three, just to have three different opinions, or even the one that you stick under your tongue or under your armpit. The doctor
yeah,
later on told me the importance of having that one instead of the one that you put on your forehead, because if you cool off your head, it's gonna keep that temperature, but
yeah.
doesn't
I
mean that your body is really
Like you're
fighting the
good. Yeah.
fever off. Yeah, that you're
Yeah. Cause
good.
for my kid, yeah, like I would do it more than once. Cause I know like one
Yeah,
minute you'd be like, oh, he good. And then the next minute he's not. And I'm like,
yeah,
and I do, and I guess I get my averages on. So like, okay, you have a fever or you don't. But
yeah.
I got another question from Pedro.
Mhm.
How's your wife? Did she was she healthy the entire time, or did she catch it as well? I'm not sure if I asked you that question before.
Well, one thing. All right, so we have a friend of the family that caught COVID before I caught it. She told us her experience. Actually, her and her mother caught it at the same time.
Mm,
And she told us about her experience and her knowledge about it. So what we tried to do, we have a townhouse. So our townhouse, she stayed upstairs, and I tried to sleep upstairs, she slept on a mattress, not on the bed that I was sleeping, right? So it's like she slept on a mattress on the floor. It wasn't really comfortable for her, but just being in the same room, but still practicing social distancing, to
mm,
some level. I was on the bed all the way in the corner. She was on the floor on a mattress. I didn't really want her on the floor. But when it became harder for me to sleep laying down because of the constant mucus trying to come up,
mm,
I just left upstairs. And since we got the information from her friend about how the germs work and everything, and you could get recontaminated, we
mm.
began spraying microban, Lysol everywhere. I was carrying on my IG. I posted a can of Lysol. This is my best friend. I was using it to fight. I was
Yeah.
using it to fight this thing. So I was literally spraying everywhere that I've been, everything I touched.
Mm,
I was spraying the bed. I was changing out the sheet like every day. But that's when we had a better understanding of it. But then later on, we also found out. I don't know how true this is. Let me just put that out there, my little
mm.
disclaimer.
Yeah.
But what we read and what we're learning more of is, I guess, O positive. She's O positive.
Mm,
And being that type of blood type, from what we were, the not the information that we've gotten, I suggest you go look it up yourself. But the information we gotten was O positive fights it better than
mm.
B positive, and I'm B
Okay.
positive. So
Okay.
she she never got sick, man. We just had a joke earlier today. I'm like, man, I want your blood type, man. you know, you know,
Yeah. Right.
because she
But
never caught sick, never got a fever, never got anything, man,
yeah,
throughout the whole
and
thing.
she didn't have like a mask around you. She kind of just
Yeah,
or she.
we stayed away from each other in the same house. I was basically quarantining, realizing I couldn't lay down much. I ended up going downstairs, and I was sitting upright, but kind of like my head in between my legs for me to be able to sleep.
Mm,
You know, because at least I'm sitting up, and it was just easier to sleep that way. It's not the most comfortable, but just the peace of mind, I was able to at least get some shut eye. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But
'Cause
because I
you
couldn't
need
really get
rest.
much sleep. Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't get much sleep laying down. So I left upstairs for her, and every time I coughed, I was spraying, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
So, yeah.
Um. So back to like thank goodness the second hospital visit was a better experience and made you feel a little better. But just the fact that you were going back to the hospital again, take me through your mind during that time, like in terms of, I'm sure a lot of emotions were happening, a lot of things were going on. Did you stay positive when you went back to the second time? Like, yeah, take us through, your feelings during that time.
Okay, so I will say the third hospital visit, this happened in the span of 3 days. But the hospital visits did not come until after I I guess I could get into this now. Where I guess some people. I guess I was waiting for the question about vaccination, right? But I guess I wasn't vaccinated. Let me just first say that, right?
Okay.
And the reason why I did not get vaccinated is because I know the symptoms would not be as bad if I got vaccinated. So I did. She got vaccinated,
Mhm.
but my thought process was I did not want to be carrying something around and and having minimal symptoms and playing with my kids and giving my kids something when they're not vaccinated. They can't
Mhm.
get vaccinated. They're 6 and 4. So I'm like, I didn't want to be carrying something. I'm having minimal symptoms, and then I give something to my child that could
Mhm.
possibly take them out. So
Mhm.
I'm like, if they can't get vaccinated, I'm not getting vaccinated, right? So that was my thought process, right?
Mhm.
So I looked into other things. Plus, I had some friends of mine that reached out and they gave me information about Regeneron. Now, I don't know if you know what that is.
No, tell me about it. I'm not. No idea.
I don't have much information, but they said Regeneron, the sooner you take it, the easier it is for it to fight COVID. And basically, you could it works like the vaccine, but the
Mhm.
vaccine is like, I guess, for an extended period of time, it protects you to some level, right? But Regeneron is kind of like, you need this now.
Okay.
Let's get this out your system now. Boom.
Gotcha.
So I got the Regeneron. It was one in each arm and two in the abdomen. They gave me shots.
Okay.
But that's when I really got sick. And I don't want to say it's because of the Regeneron, but it's because of the Regeneron. Meaning, like
Mm.
it said that I would have these side effects, and the side effects was throwing up and all this other stuff. Now, the Regeneron, I feel, was the big guns in this situation. Like
Mhm.
the doctor on the third visit, they said I was already at my peak with this whole situation. And then here I go, I get Regeneron. So
Mhm.
when I get Regeneron and I'm already at my peak, which means my body is just gonna start getting over this thing because I've already been fighting it. Since
Right.
that Saturday, I tested positive and boom, 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 boom. My body has been fighting this all this time. And now you go get Regeneron and Regeneron, you don't need it. But I don't know
Mm.
that. All I'm
Mm.
hearing is, oh, this thing helps you fight this and you could be better in like 48 hours or whatever, you know?
Mhm.
So that's all I'm hearing, but I did not need it. And when the first hospital called me and they said, hey, you can't take it after this day, which was literally 2 days away. I was
Mm.
like, well, I'm gonna go get this thing. So let me go get it. And my body, that's when I started throwing up. That's when the diarrhea, that's when I couldn't keep food down. That's when my body really started aching and I had no appetite. The Campbell soup, I could not eat. I could not even drink Pedialyte. Nothing was staying down. And I was like, yo, I don't want my organs to shut down because
Yeah.
I'm getting dehydrated. I'm losing my fluids. I'm throwing up. I'm literally over here like, ugh, but I ain't got no food to bring up.
Mm.
And then stomach acid. I don't want to go into all that nasty stuff, man, but I'm just saying, like, when I saw I got to that point, I didn't know what was causing it, but I knew I was getting dehydrated. And the weight that I gained, I didn't eat for 2 days. It was like
Mm.
I didn't have an appetite throughout the whole thing, but when I got the Regeneron, I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat. It was almost like having a stomach flu. So like I couldn't eat. I didn't eat for how many days I was trying to eat, but I just couldn't eat. And then what I had to eat didn't taste good to me at all. I did add salt, but I was tired of eating it because I was eating it all week. you know. But anyway, um, getting to that situation, that last ER visit, it was just I knew the weight that I had on, the fact my body was using that as energy to get me through. That's how I feel like I lost 28 pounds throughout
And
this
how long?
whole thing.
Yeah, how long was the time from beginning to
Like,
end?
okay, so the day I tested negative,
Mhm.
which when I got my stepdaughter, when we got our stepdaughter tested and she tested positive, that was the 21st of August to
Mm.
now. So if you really look at
Wow.
it in like 2 weeks, actually, it's going on a month now, but like 2 weeks, I lost 28 pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, man.
And I didn't even work out, man.
No. It's so the
No cardio.
Regeneron just flipped the system in the wrong way. Like it was a bad switch or something.
I
Or
don't even want to call it a bad switch. I just feel like it put my system in overdrive, which was not
mm-hmm,
needed. That's why they say if you get it earlier, it's better. But I was
mm,
like, before you get to your peak, it's like that's what they were saying. Like it's better to get it before you get to your peak. That's why the cutoff was 2 days later, and I was like, oh, but they didn't give me much information about it. So
right.
I feel that's why I call Regeneron the big guns, right? It's like it put my whole system, my immune system in overdrive, and it was like literally throwing everything out. That's why I couldn't keep nothing down. Like, nope, we don't want that. We fighting this thing. We
Yeah,
getting it out
yeah.
the system. Diarrhea now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's
Fire
coming
and
out of
everything.
it's coming everywhere. It's coming
Yeah.
out of everywhere. And I'm like, but I gotta eat. I gotta drink. How am I gonna get these fluids that's necessary in my system? And I
Mm,
know I needed some IV. I needed some kind of fluids, but it had to be directly injected into my system. But I could
mhm,
not ingest it through my mouth.
right.
So that's why the third ER visit came. But that one was the scariest because that fever, I couldn't break it. I would go
Yeah.
to cold shower, it come down. 2 minutes later, it's going right back up. I'm back in the shower, it'll come down. And 2 minutes later, it's going right back up. I was like, I can't. By the time I got to the hospital, the nurse, she said that my fever was so high, they're glad that I was there because
Wow.
and plus my oxygen level had dropped. I
Mm,
needed to be in the ER, basically. They gave me that thing. I forgot what it's called. I don't have it with me, but you put it on your finger to test your heart rate and your oxygen.
mhm.
Um, they gave me that. I did not test my oxygen before I left, but my oxygen, they said the lowest I'm supposed to be is 92%, but I was at 90. And they said they're glad I was there. My fever was so high, she didn't tell me what it was, and I just felt like the Regeneron was kicking ASS, man. It was
Yeah.
kicking ASS, but my body wasn't ready for that kind of power.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that you decided to go at the time
Mhm.
you went,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to say it, but I can't say it. Just the idea that if you didn't go when you
yeah,
went, it
yeah.
it could have went in a
It
really
could have went south really quick.
yeah. But I just
Yeah,
want to talk. I know Miss UDM is in the chat, and she said something. I gotta scroll it back up and show it because this is like I never met you, right? I'm talking to you right now, but
yeah. I didn't even know
I'm
she was in the
get,
chat.
and it's like, yo, bro, like it's like I get emotional
Yeah,
about it, and because I'm lucky to have a wife that would do exactly what she did. That she would not leave,
yeah,
even if I said, "Go, get out of the house." She wouldn't leave. just talk about how important it is to have someone like that, like to have a life partner that doesn't, it don't matter what you're going to go through, that she is going to be there. You know what I mean? Like that's so important. Like I feel like some people we got this society, man, we don't want to get married or we don't want to be together. Or we having quick,
Yeah.
arguments back and forth. So many people broke up last year. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
when you have someone that is a life partner, man, no matter what can happen, they got you and you got them, and it's not even a question. Like even if you try
Yeah.
to say go somewhere else, you like shut up. I'm going to stay right here. Just tell me about that,
Yeah.
man.
I will definitely say that if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have fought as hard as I did and did all the things to get back home to her. I'm just being honest. There was a moment I could tell. You just know when you with somebody like for how long we've been together. It's like if you with somebody for a while, you just know when they're trying to hide emotions that they really don't want to break down. And she was already having like these OCD moments about masks, about cleaning, about this and that before I got sick. So I
Mm,
knew as soon as I got sick that she was already on 10, but she now it's 10 times 1000%. But seeing how stressed out she was, and it's like at one point, she knew I wasn't eating because it didn't taste good to me anymore. But she really got on my case. She was like, "You're not eating," and she broke down, man. And seeing her break down, I was like, "Okay, babe, I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna
mm,
eat." It's like it's like even if I didn't want to, I just drank a little bit. It's like,
okay.
okay, babe. All right. Yeah, I felt like just seeing her there. I probably I don't want to say this, but it's
Yeah.
like again, I probably wouldn't have fought as hard as I did to get back to her if it wasn't for her and showing me how this was affecting her.
Mhm,
At at one point, I knew I didn't care personally. I cared. I don't want to say this wrong. I cared about my family, like, but this situation, I was like, listen, I feel like I've done a lot of good in my life, and if I were to go, I would be okay. But
mm,
I did not want to leave my family. You understand? I'm not ready to go. I'm only 35 years old. I got to raise my sons to be men. They
mm,
haven't even gone through puberty yet. I'm like, nah.
mhm.
So it's like, just seeing her go through what she went through emotionally, it did a number on me, man. It made me fight harder. I,
Right.
I was fighting to stay anyway, but it's not like I was, which I'm gonna get into in a minute. But it's like, yeah, that's it. Just she
Yeah.
really broke down and she was really trying to keep it together. But I was like, if it wasn't for her, I probably would have not fight as hard. Yeah,
And yeah, because that's the point. Like, us, as adults, men, whatever you want to call, you want to call it that. All right, man. If I gotta go, like something's gonna happen, I can try to manage, and maybe if things don't work out, don't work out. But the fear that we have, or at least, I'm not speaking for you, but the fear I have is like something happens to me, what happens to my son or happens to my wife? Because I don't want, like I
yeah,
said, I don't want to go right now. And I know you was talking to me about your son, and I know you wrote it in social media, and I got emotional just reading it because we love our
yeah.
kids, man. Like I love my kid. I will do anything. I will kill. I will kill anybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a crazy thing when you have a kid that you didn't have these emotions. At least I'm just talking for myself. I didn't have these emotions when I didn't
No,
have a child.
you
But when I
speaking for
have one,
both of us.
yeah, I have this boy, and it's like every decision I make is like, all right, all right, I'm doing it for him, or I get into some kind of issue like where I can get myself in trouble by fighting or do some stupid stuff, right? It's like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. Nope, I'm not gonna do that. So when you had
Yeah,
that message about how he was reacting,
yeah.
yeah, man, it hit me in a special place, definitely, man. Like, and I guess tell me about that, man. Um,
Well, I'm gonna try not to get emotional on your stream, man.
Mhm.
My son and I, one thing, all right, so my father and I, we didn't have the best relationship. So you know when you what you don't experience or what you want to experience as a kid growing up, if you don't get what you're seeking or what you're craving, you try to do that with your kids, right? You try to
Mhm.
do all like raising a kid is not easy, but it's like you don't know the best way to do it. You just do the best that you can. So it's like one thing I'm beginning to do with him before I got sick and all that was he really looked forward to me picking him up from school and we would just go, I would take him to different places. Like he would be hungry, so I would basically take him to different restaurants. We would restaurant hop. We've been to Applebee's, we've been to, Brews. Like it wouldn't be the same restaurant every week. And we did that for a couple of months. And if
Mm.
he had a good week, every Friday I would let him order dessert. So it's like he would get like chocolate cake. Daddy, I can get it with the ice cream. So it's like, we developed a bond just through that.
Mhm.
And he looks forward to just riding with me in the car. It's like he wants to, if all of us are going somewhere, but we're taking two separate cars, he would probably be the
Mm.
one to be like, Daddy, I can ride with you. I don't want to ride with mommy, you know. So, but just seeing how he reacted to that and knowing the bond that we have, that really hit me hard, man. It's like
Mm.
just hearing that he felt like I was going to be taken out
Mhm.
and crying about the situation. I wanted to help. I wanted to be there to give my son some comfort and at least let him know like that daddy's all right, man. We had to do it through FaceTime, but each time it's like he knew I was lying to him. You know?
Yeah.
Like daddy's all right, man. Daddy's all
Yeah.
right. Daddy getting better. He don't look all right, mommy. Like
Yeah, they
you
smart.
know,
They smart.
it did a number on me, man.
Yeah.
My youngest son, he doesn't understand what's going on, but knowing the bond that I developed with my older son through the restaurant hopping and the time we spent together and how he reacted to this situation about me being in the hospital, I didn't even want him to know that I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
Just by that, yeah,
So, like you've been through a lot in a span of
yeah.
2 weeks. Like it seemed like I guess let's talk about just how you got better. So like you had the last hospital visit, you was at the peak, but you said you took the Generon and things kind of went full overdrive. When did you start feeling at least good, or not even good, but just feeling like, okay, I'm gonna pull through. I'm gonna pull through this. I think I'm gonna be okay.
When there was a DNR order, if you do not know what that is,
Yeah, I know what that
do
is.
not resuscitate. Do not resuscitate. I had some doctors and some nurses come into the room and they asked me if, basically, in a nutshell, if I could not, if I ended up losing my life, if I ended up dying on the bed, and I would want to give someone the power to bring me back to life or leave me be, who would I give that to? And I was like, WTF?
Yeah.
Why y'all talking to me about this? I'm about to
Mm.
die. Then it's like like in the Marvel movies, how they have all the different comics just flipping through really quick, and then it turns into Marvel. That's my
Mm.
brain now. Every
Mm.
flashback, everything I have not done in my life, every moment I wanted to have with my family, every anniversary trip I wanted to take with the wife, everything that I did not do just flashed before my eyes. Hearing that there's a possibility that I could die and I got to give somebody. the control or the power on whether they're gonna try to bring me back to life or just leave me be. I said, yo, I'm only 35 years old. I got a lot to live for. I'm not ready. But I had to choose between my mom and the wife. And I was like, I'm not giving anybody else that power except her. Nobody else. I know she gonna fight. She, even if she got to beat on my head, beat on my chest, she gonna fight to bring me back. I know for a fact. She'll beat me up. I might have a black eye. I might be all swollen after the fact. But she ain't gonna let me go. So I'm like, okay. That's when it kicked in, man. I'm in the hospital. They gave me this thing to exercise my lungs. I don't even have it with me. But they gave me that to exercise my. I should have brought it, but I posted it on my Instagram. But I didn't understand how important it was at first when they first brought it in before the DNR order. But then after that, I got out of bed, man. I opened up the blinds. I'm like, this thing is not gonna beat me. I'm not exercising my lungs like crazy. I'm walking back. I'm walking to the door and back to the bed, back to the door, back to the bed. I'm like, I'm doing my little exercise, man. I'm not in the bed no more, and I'm in the recliner. Man, I was just like,
you too stubborn to go, man. You too stubborn. Especially you an island man too, man. Like I'm half Bayesian. I know you from the islands. People from the islands, men are the most stubborn people you can talk to. They're like, no, we're gonna get this done. Whatever they trying to do, is like, no, we're gonna get it done. Like, I don't think it's a good idea. No, I'm gonna get it done. Like, that's the attitude from the islands, because things ain't great over there. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing too, man. I don't want to interrupt, but like, we complain a lot here, man. Americans, I'm half, but like, we complain a lot. But like, people from the islands, you complain, but they work. So when they come to the country, man, they see how everyone's complaining, and like, and then island people are like, you're not gonna try to get this money. You're gonna complain. All right, I'll do it for you. I'll go get that for you. So I just think you need that stubbornness to get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, just by the videos you make and the way you talk about, like all this nonsense, all this small stuff, right? It's so insignificant now.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I'm gonna get it done. There is no other way. It's gonna get done or not. So I think your attitude definitely helps, right? I think it definitely helps.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll be honest, and I'll say that it was a bit the overflow of love, the videos that I watched, the community tab posts. Some people that never did a video about me, they were doing videos about me. And I was like, oh man, the overwhelming amounts of love and prayer and this, I never expected it. There was people all over, man, and I did not know. It's not even about my influence. I did not know that people cared as much. I'm just being honest. I did not know that people cared as much about me. You understand? So knowing how I call my online family, the delivery family. It's important to me. Family is important to me, but I did not know that I affected so many people in the way that I did. Like, I was like, I'm dealing with COVID, just like any other person that's dealing with COVID. And then later on, I found out there were prayer lines, like people on like almost, I don't want to call it a party line, but it's like prayer lines, just people just praying for me. And I'm like, what the? I didn't know. I found all of this stuff out later, and all of that stuff helped me, man. Just seeing my community tab posts, the videos from DoorDash Dad, Mr. Flex, Rideshare Lisa, Dasher Shannon, just different people doing videos that I never expected. It's like, wow, I didn't know. But
Mm-hmm.
all of that, I felt like it helped get me back. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
somebody trying to come in.
No.
Oh, you trying to bring me the thing?
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing, you
Okay.
know, and I guess I could do a little demonstration. So let me just put
Yeah.
a when I was in the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
I could not get it. I couldn't get it to 1500.
Okay.
Like I could only get it to this line. It was very difficult getting this thing all the way up here. And it was like before you leave this hospital, you have to be able to at least get it to 2000.
Okay.
So I was able to get it to 2000. And what I have to do is I have to inhale in this little pebble thing. I have to keep it between these two arrows.
Okay.
And
So it's like
it's
it's like a
only in
training. It's like you're
yeah, and it's only
training your
for
muscle.
inhaling. And it's only
Oh.
for inhaling. It's not like I could blow into it. No, I have to
Oh. Okay.
inhale. So
Mm.
now I could get it a lot, I guess for demonstration
Yeah.
purposes.
Yeah. Yeah. There you
I didn't
go.
take a deep enough breath, but I can get it all the way to 4000 now. But
Yeah.
before it was very difficult to get it to 1000 and then even
Hmm.
1500 without me having to cough and be out of breath, you know?
Yeah.
But
So it's
now that's my indicator that yeah, you good.
you good, right? So like it took a lot of sounds like a rehab. Sounds
It
like a
definitely was.
retraining of just how to breathe and how to do
Yeah,
what you had to do. So that fantastic.
yeah,
It just by talking to you, for about an
yeah.
hour right now, I could tell it was like a life changing experience. So if you were
It
able to
was.
kind of just put it together, like what? Well, first of all, one question: what regrets you have? And it's easy to say, talk now, but you didn't know all the information, just like, but what you wish you could have done differently? Um, it was just start for that question. Like, what do you wish you could have done differently?
Have more of a savings to get me through because it's not just being sick, it's
Mm-hmm.
what comes after that as well, because it's like now you're fighting for a negative test so you could possibly go back to work. You understand what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
like even after COVID, when like you're never the same for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning when I got out the hospital, it was already how many weeks I should have been done with COVID. My head felt like a balloon. It's not lightheaded,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like there's a constant sinus pressure that wasn't going away. And it's like my just is I could walk up and down the stairs, but it's like it feels like I need to put my hand on something, but I'm not lightheaded. So it's like there were times where I felt weak, because of this whole situation. And I feel like it's because of the weight that I lost, all the muscle mass that I probably lost. And I just felt weak, you know. Um, just this whole situation, man. The biggest regret is not having a big enough savings to get me through
Mm-hmm.
a large enough amount of money saved up to get me through after COVID. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? I have money, but it's not enough. And I'm still dealing with some things relating to COVID
Mm-hmm.
after the fact,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, wow. It's like, that's my biggest regret. That's my
Yeah.
biggest regret, you know, just the savings. I should have had more money in the bank.
Um, because if you did, you would you have bought the medication? Even if it was $500, would you have bought it if you had enough savings? Would you have bought it? Or you still had the idea like, "Oh, it's too expensive." Again, we're just talking the mindset at the time. would you have purchased it if you had, like I said, the enough savings that you felt comfortable enough to spend on that?
Now, still $500 still felt like a lot to me. Like
It is a lot.
I was
Yeah.
like, I ain't spending no $500 for no damn meds.
Yeah.
If I can't get it for like $20 or something, I could at sometimes I could be El Cheapo, like nah, I could be real cheap, you know. But nah, I don't think I would have spent the 500 because. But a good friend of mine also reached out and he basically told me about Good RX. I didn't know about Good RX, and then
Mhm.
going through Good RX, I think it was like $8 through Good RX, man. I was like, oh, right up my
You
alley.
good.
you know. So
Yeah.
I ended up getting all these different meds, and it ended up being like 60 something bucks. It probably would have been a lot more expensive if I had went the other route.
Yeah. Being an independent contractor and having this happen, does
Hmm.
it change your perspective on whether to continue or change it up during the situation where if you had had maybe a regular W-2 with benefits and whatnot, whatever, and whatever, what have you, has that been in your mind at all, or not?
I still got the same. I still got the same mindset, man. The thing
Mhm.
is, the only difference between all right, I don't know if anybody ever been through what I've been through, but just knowing or just remembering when I had that W-2, and some of my employers, they would take my insurance money out the check. Like there would be like a specific company that they dealt with, but I would have to pay for it anyway out my check.
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
just remembering that, or even remembering when my oldest son was first born, and trying to put him on some on my insurance, he ended up being $700 a month. I was
Yeah,
like, and I was only getting $1,400 a month, and I wasn't making no
man.
money at all.
Yeah,
So I had
yeah.
$700 to get through the entire month just to make sure my son had some insurance. So I was like, just to be honest with you, being independent gives me that flexibility of going with a company I want to go with, not just a company
Mhm.
that my employer wants me to go with. And
True.
I have more control over what policy I decide to choose and this and that and just I have so much more control just being independent. Even if, it's not even about just my schedule, going to work when I want to go to work and different things like that. But also, if I want to keep on working for the day, I can. you know, if I want to make, if I made $100, but I want to make 150, it might take me a couple extra hours, but I want to make 150. I'm
Yeah.
not just gonna settle for what my employer would give me for the day, but they give me more work for the same pay. No,
Yeah.
no.
I I
So I'm
I
I'm still
yeah.
with the independent contractor. I'm
Mhm.
pro independent contractor
I mean, I already had the
or
idea of your
business
answer.
owner.
Oh, business owner.
Business owner.
Have you been back? Have you been back to work? Or are you still just recuperating and chilling? What's your daily, moves that you're doing right now?
Well, there's been a lot of planning. There's been a lot of a lot has changed in my mental.
Hmm.
Not just the regrets, right? But I really do feel it affected my brain a tad bit. Meaning now I'm more driven to do things that I was intimidated by. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily like, oh, I'm afraid of heights, so now I'm gonna jump off the top tallest building, go hang gliding or whatever. No, not in that sense. It's like more like the things that intimidated me or I felt like it would probably take too long of a process to accomplish. I'm like, let's get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I'm focused on this now. Some of the most difficult things that I never considered in the past, now my brain is wired in some kind of way. It's like it made a connection
Mm-hmm.
that now sees these things and just wants all the information and just want to digest it. I can't explain it, but now I'm just driven. Like even down to my live streams. I said I need to take this more serious, and
Mhm.
you will see next week. I'm coming back, and I'm coming back even stronger than I have been. You know, it's a different mindset. I have a different way, even down to how I speak to people now.
Mhm.
They will say like there's an aggressive tone, but it's more like almost like a the leader or a leadership type of tone. Like, listen, we're gonna get this done, okay? Let's get this done. This is what needs to be done. Da, 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 da. Let's get it done. That's the tone.
Mhm.
You know, it's a zero tolerance tone for just getting things done. And
Right.
it's like I said, I'm just the most driven that I have ever been. And I feel it's stemming from that DNR order. Knowing that I could have lost my life, they were thinking about putting me on a ventilator. They were thinking about, they asked me, who would I give the power to pull the plug if I needed to give the power to someone?
Mhm.
I'm like, if that's, if I beat all of that, I feel like I had a second chance. So if I got a second chance, I'm gonna give everything my all. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm gonna spend as much time with my kids as possible, with the family. I'm gonna do the live stream with my YouTube channel. I'm gonna give people what they want. I ain't gonna overwork myself, and I'm gonna get my business going. I'm gonna do everything that I felt like I needed to do that I did not do before the situation. I'm just
Yeah.
driven now. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody could take me off my course.
Yeah.
People left comments just to put things into perspective for you, bro. How this changed my mind.
Mhm.
People left comments. Oh man, I was hoping you lost the battle against COVID.
Wow. What is wrong with
It
people,
upset
man?
some people. It really did upset some people. But I was like, hey, too bad I won. You know what I'm saying? In
Yeah.
the past, I would have gotten. I was like, who the hell? I probably would
Yeah.
have, become a
Uh,
little, I probably would have left a nice little comment response. But I'm like,
yeah.
nah, I don't even care. I fought it. I beat it. So too bad, so sad. And I'm a keep on going. I know
Yeah.
what I got to do. I know how this affected me mentally. I know everything I got to do now. And I'm just like, listen, I know I could catch it again, but at least I had the experience. A lot of people don't have the experience and they just assume they don't know what is going to happen to them, but everyone experiences are different.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another thing that I found out. Everyone goes through this a different way. Some people lose a sense of smell and taste, but they don't have trouble breathing. Some people have trouble breathing. Some people have all the symptoms. But I didn't have anything really until the Regeneron. It was the fever until the Regeneron. But
Yeah.
ultimately, man, I'm just glad that I got a second chance. And the fact that I got a second chance, I'm going all in, bro. I'm going all in.
I
I'm
always thought you
into everything now, bro.
I always thought you was a passionate, energetic dude. So I was like, UDM now coming up even like go, Super Saiyan mode. I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait until
Bro.
Monday to see exactly what you got planned, man. Because
Yeah.
is it just a basic you had a life or death basic situation, and you just realize things you may have thought was important are no longer important, and the things you think are, you know what I mean? Like, was that just the shift in the mindset? Because, like you said, that DNR order and all those, like you said, that the film that was going in your head of all the things you did not do, not you didn't have a flashback, you had things I would want to do. Was that just it's just a shift in mindset? He's like, I can't wait because you never know what's going to happen the next day.
Yeah. That's it. The shift in the
Mm,
mindset that all of that stuff, even down to one thing no one ever talks about, even after the COVID situation, if they caught COVID, is the nightmares that come with it.
Mm. Mm.
Imagine waking or dreaming you can't breathe. I've had so many of those after the fact. Even that was a scare. Even that, when I woke up out of it, I, I could breathe. Oh man, it's like having a panic attack in your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's all of that. It just makes me appreciate. I look at life differently now. The things that
Mm-hmm.
used to get me upset, they don't get me as upset. And when even like my immediate family, if there's like some situation going on and people arguing, I'm like, listen, there's more to life than this. This is too petty. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like enjoy the good. Like I swear, like this thing that turned me into an even more positive dude. Like if I could beat this thing, all right. Listen, stop the
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah.
Stop the
That.
arguing, and now let's get this thing done.
Well,
Hmm.
it's great that you are more positive because I don't know if you've been checking around YouTube, but it's to be honest, I feel like it's the same old stuff. The things we all
Yeah,
have back and
I've,
forth and
I've been watching.
arguments with. Um, you know, has anything different that you think could come across when you're watching YouTube? Is there anything different in terms of all these apps? So it's really just the same. It's just a new topic, and we are arguing over it.
To be honest with you, I shared this with my members on the channel, and I'll share it here, where I felt like the there's been so much bickering and arguing. It's not the same, and it's becoming more and more less interesting to watch, to the point where I decided to unsubscribe from a lot of channels. I'm not going to list
Mm,
the names of the
mm,
channels that I unsubscribed from,
mm,
but I did unsubscribe from a lot of channels that I subscribed to show support. I
right.
subscribed to get those notifications because I really did enjoy the content. But then
Mm,
it turned into, okay, so you are considered to be an OG. This is me having a conversation with myself. You are considered to be an OG in this space. You were one of the first channels to get started trying to help people to figure out how to manage these apps and so on and so forth. What, how has this space changed from your beginning to now? And I'm like, wow, even if there's more drivers now, it's like it turned into something I never wanted it to turn into. And it feel like it just became this more toxic space
mm,
when all of us were just trying to make money. I'm not saying like, it's creators that turned it into a toxic space. It's like there's so much drama that came with DoorDash. There's so much negativity that came with protests or people that were for protesting whatever that they were fighting for, and then next thing you know, it turned drivers against each other because drivers were on this side and drivers were on that side. So seeing all the changes, to me, it turned into a space that people that honestly learned how to do this,
mm,
like they don't really want to watch as much anymore because it's not the same, or they've gained so much information, so much knowledge they don't need to watch anymore.
yeah.
But I've seen channels that were getting a lot of views at one point. They're not getting as many views anymore,
Mm,
and they're still putting out the same good content. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's like I took that information as people don't want to watch as much anymore because the environment got toxic. And I said people need positive energy. They need love. They need, yeah, put out the information. It's
Mm,
information. It's great information to put out there, but the delivery, it's like we got to get back to that space to where this used to be fun. You
right.
know what I'm saying? It
Mm,
used to be fun, and making the money and this and that and all that. It used to be fun, and it still is. But then we got caught up in all that, all the drama that came with it.
we were talking a little bit, before we got on, and I kind of mentioned like the issues that we have, and I guess in the community. I feel like it's just a bigger part of society. Like everything is 50-50. It's either you're with us or you're against us kind of thing. And
Yeah,
and it's hard to break through it. I know you could do it. You could break through it. But I just feel like just for COVID, right? Just talking about COVID. There's a segment who want to get back to normal, and then there's like a segment that's trying to redefine what normal is. A really good friend kind of said that, and it really doesn't matter. Your interpretation could be, it doesn't really matter. But like we have this tribalism going on. And I feel like it's probably the same in the gig community of either you strike, rest, whatever, what have you, or some group take everything, take every order thing, and
yeah,
it's okay to have different perspectives. And I'm a victim of this too,
yeah.
man, because I could be petty, but like,
I think we all can, man. I think we all can. Yeah,
but I understand what you're saying. Like we got to move past it because like I said, the views numbers don't lie, right? If
yeah,
there are people kind of checking out, what could we do differently? What different topics we could talk about? What different things we can do to help make things interesting and informative, but also, like I said, a little bit more positive. Because you leave a house sometimes, at least in me and my neighborhood, just leave the house, it's full of negativity. Out that door, it's full
yeah,
of negativity. And I talked to when I was talking to Pedro and Gig Life and John the other day.
yeah. I
My
watched
summer
that
was
video.
terrible. Appreciate it. That my summer was terrible, but the highlight was talking to people in the community, like having conversations. That got me through, And
Yeah,
you're right. After a while, complaining about the eighth thing that DoorDash has done, and then people who don't agree could do this or that. It gets tiring after a while. I definitely agree with that. I think it gets tiring. But I guess you are you gonna tell us some of your plans, or you just want to like your plans that you haven't, or you just want to stay tuned, like how you want to get people a taste of what you're looking to do with your channel in the future.
well, I've been asking some questions, and they're important questions because what I'm trying to do is revive what might have died.
Mm,
What I is that I'm just trying to revive what might have died in the community. I'm not trying to change anybody else's channels. I'm not trying to. Uh, I'm not trying to put my channel up here and other channels down here. Even though every creator is in charge of their own channels, and really and truly, it's a business where I shouldn't have to care about your channel. That's your channel, or
yeah.
you shouldn't have to care about my channel. But I really want to revive what's what I feel has been missing in the community, where it's not just entertainment, it's not just the news, it's also the delivery as well, to get people ready to go, and I
Mm,
feel like, not just, I feel like all of us have the potential to influence our audience in whatever way possible. And I feel like sometimes it's good to get the negative out so people can know what's really going on out here.
right.
But then the way it's delivered, it might affect the person that's watching. So I'm like, what do I want to do? What do I want to change? How do I want to get this? How am I going to tackle this to help revive the community, to make this fun again, even if it's at its worst state ever since you have started this thing, right? So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I need to get people up. My breakfast show. I retired the breakfast show how many years, how long ago? But I'm bringing it back full force. The
Mm-hmm.
point of the breakfast show is to get you up and ready for your day. Get you ready for your week. Let's have
Good
some
morning.
fun. Let's
Yeah.
talk. Good
Yeah.
morning. It's a great morning. Like
Yeah.
it's just to get you ready for your day. So that's
Yeah.
going to be 3 days a week, and the
Yeah.
podcast is going to stay where it's at. 3 days a
Nice.
week. Monday is the beginning of the week. We get paid Sunday, or Sunday the week ends for us gig
Mm-hmm.
workers. Right. Monday is the beginning of the week. Wednesday, you got to get over that hump, and then Friday you got to get ready for the weekend. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'll be waking y'all up We're gonna be eating some breakfast. I'm gonna be playing some music. We're gonna be talking on the line. I'm gonna be delivering some news. I might have some guests, even like having a conversation with you, Hannibal. Bring you on the morning show. I said if Steve Harvey could have a morning show, if Ricky Smiley could have a morning show, and this is a new space, the gig world, why not? I could have a morning show too. So
I told
Monday,
you. When I first saw you and I saw your videos, I'm like, yo, this dude's in the radio, like this dude in broadcasting, like
yeah,
that's the effect you had. But then when he was telling me about your father, I was like, oh, okay, like
yeah,
you already got it, man. You definitely got it. I just
yeah.
want to throw out thank you for the super chats, Andrew. You always come on my channel and spread love. Appreciate it, John. I know you had one earlier in the night, but I know, man, like talking to UDM, that's one thing about you, man. You don't need no fancy editing tricks, no graphics, nothing flying around. It's just you talking. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we need is you talking, you telling your passion, your energy. That's all we need. And that's something that I look up to you. And I'm like, all right, I gotta get my stuff like how UDM talks and how he inspires. Because I'll tell you, this conversation tonight, man, it got me thinking about a lot of stuff. Got me thinking about a lot of things. Just going through what you're going through. And I hope everyone that is really watching, listening to what you were saying during this hour, because you it was deep. Like when you said like stuff I do is a little bit more of trying to get more underneath the surface. What you said in this last almost 90 minutes is some deep stuff, man. I just want to tell you that, man. Definitely.
You
Uh,
know,
yeah.
I want to let you know that I really enjoy your videos, and just to put this out there, your channel is not the one of the ones that I subscribe from, but
Good to know.
your content kept me informed, and your delivery. This is an awesome channel. This it's not just about UDM, and I said in one of my videos in response to Bentley Coop, I said like if you did a video on a subject, I would be the first one to send people your way. I don't.
Mm,
It's like if you already covered the topic, I'm like, yeah, Hannibal did a video on it. Just like when you did that video on the protest in front of Tony Shu's house. I didn't even know
mm,
that was going on, but I was like, yo, what the heck going on? But the
mm.
video was very informative and it kept
Yeah.
me in the loop, and that's the types that even down to the other videos. I can't call on any of them at the top of my head, but I
Mm,
watch. I'm not gonna say that I watch all your videos as soon as they come out, but I
yeah.
usually watch your videos, and there's like the mental health video, gig mental health, like that story you told about the woman you knew in the very beginning of the conversation, the woman
Yeah.
you knew,
Yeah.
and a family friend, and just all of that. Like I feel like that's necessary. Like I
Mm,
feel like the things that we talk about is necessary. You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
not everyone that has that. Uh, how can I say? Not everyone is creative enough to be able to do things like that. But your channel is definitely one that I tune into. I watch, I listen. I might not comment, but I do
Yeah.
watch to stay informed. And I want to do the same. Like Mondays, it's not just about gigs. It's not just about the gig world anymore, or gig tube. And I'm not sending a shot at gig tube channel. He was Chad the gig economist.
Yeah.
What I'm
Yeah.
saying is like the gig tubers, like this space that we're in. I feel like, we as a community need to focus more on the fact that we're independent. Like even down to that protest in front of Tony Shu's house where people are like they're like fighting for benefits, they're fighting for these different things. And I'm like, but you're independent. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you have to get all of this stuff, and it's just a whole conversation that needs to be had. And I'm just like, yo, what else can I do when I come back? What else can I do to help push people forward towards? It's not just about working gig apps, it's about being independent. How can I push them towards that? So I came up with multiple streams Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
Now, multiple streams Mondays is a segment that I'm now going to open up the lines and give people the opportunity to share what plans they have to have multiple streams coming in, whether it's just working, if you're just a DoorDash driver, what's your plan to have multiple streams? Like, are you gonna now sign up for Uber? Okay, that's in the gig space realm. But in the independent realm, like, what are you doing? Oh, you're gonna start a business? What business you getting into? You don't have to give us all the details, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like having those types of conversations would motivate those listeners, the audience, to possibly start a business,
Yeah.
possibly sign up for a second or third or fourth app or something that's totally different. But it's just multiple streams, not just focusing on one and putting all your attention on one and you're getting so frustrated. No, you got to have multiple streams. And all of these people that, not saying that we could get rich off of gig work, but sometimes in order to survive or to get through your toughest times, you got to have money coming in different places, coming
Yeah.
in from different places. Like, even during this time I can't work, I have a YouTube check coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Can y'all imagine that? I'm gonna talk to the audience now. Can you imagine if I depleted my savings from work and I did not have no other money coming in from any other place? I do have money coming, not just YouTube, but imagine, just think about that for a minute. I have a YouTube check that's coming in from, obviously, the less videos I put out, the less money I'll have coming in.
Yeah.
But just think about that. If I did not have a YouTube channel and I was just a gig worker and then I caught COVID and then I depleted my savings, where would I be right now? So that's the
Yeah.
purpose of multiple streams Mondays. Just not looking into, hey, just multiple gig apps. No, be an independent out here, an independent business owner mindset. And if you're not that person that wants to start a business, at least hearing the conversation with someone on the line, just thinking about starting a business and what they're trying to get into, it might spark an interest in you.
Definitely. Most
You
definitely.
understand?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the point of it. That's the point
Yeah.
of it. I know I'm rambling and stuff.
No problem. Yeah, listen, you sell it. You selling it. I'm looking forward to your live streams. Definitely, man. I tell you, you've, like I said, there's a lot you've talked about, and you I think you did hit the spark, especially with the people who watch you every day, like your regular subs, and obviously people in your membership group.
Yeah.
It's a very important, especially during this time. I think that's we need more like an infusion of positivity, because yeah, it's easy to be negative. I've been honest. I love complaining, but it don't help. It's not healthy. Before we end it, I just wanted just to ask one question about your work life balance now. I know when you said that
Mhm.
before this that you were doing a lot of things and you weren't getting the kind of sleep. Work life balance is something we've been talking about, in the last, in my last live stream, talking about just sometimes we work a lot. Roy, he dropped a lot of videos just talking about we work so long, so hard. Like, for what's the reason? What's the point? Um, how have you thought about how you're going to change that aspect?
Yeah, I thought about that. You know, I feel like at one point as an influencer, as a content creator, as a public figure,
Mhm.
I felt like I had a responsibility to make a minimum per week. So it's like I feel like if I made a minimum per week, then that would motivate others, maybe in my area or other areas, to work hard to get that minimum. But was the minimum needed? No, it wasn't. It gave me extra to put away. And I feel like
Mhm.
that extra gave me an opportunity to have a savings to get through COVID
Mhm.
and after COVID and stuff like that. But to be honest, it's just I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like I don't know. It's like I know I still have this drive, this hustle. So, but now it's like I don't want to work as hard as I did. I still
Mhm.
want to make a certain amount of money, but I want to spend as much time. My focus now is to deliver the information in a structured way, have fun, but at the same time, take it more serious. To be
Mhm.
honest, over the years, my live streams have, I don't know how some people are going to take this, but my live streams have been more of a hobby for me versus me taking it seriously. Like now you hear me saying things like, if Steve Harvey could have a show, I could have a show. And like,
Mhm.
now it's more like, nah, this is going to be part of my 9 to 5. Now I'm taking it
Mm.
serious.
Mhm.
This is something that has to happen every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You
Got you.
understand? So it's like
Got
just changing the mindset and understanding that now the live streams are gonna do, they're gonna be part of my 9 to 5, and also that work life balance, spending time with my kids, spending time with the wife, more time with them,
you. Mm.
getting more rest instead of being up late and then knowing I have to work the next day, getting more rest, getting
Yeah.
spending more time, not overworking myself while I'm out there, just making what I need to make, not the extra. And even with what I need to make, I can still save. You understand?
Got
So it's
got you.
like the overworking came from me trying to motivate and
Mm.
show others that they can do this too, but in my own way. And I
Mhm.
did motivate some. I did motivate a few people to the point where they were making $400. I was posting it
Yeah, I
on
saw it.
on the community tab. I was
Mhm.
motivating different people. They were texting me and everything, sending me emails. Thank you for the motivation, and they're making more money now. And I feel like I did what I needed to. And some people still need that, but I don't feel like I need to overwork myself while I'm out here to do that. So the
Got you.
time that I'm gonna be taken away from while I'm out here, because I know I'm rambling, the time that I'm taking away from while I'm out here,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be reinvesting that time into where I took it from, my family, my rest, and the more important stuff.
Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate this time. You gave me over an hour and a half. I really appreciate it. So one more question is probably the most important question. Next week, Friday, where are you gonna take the family to eat? What's the restaurant? I know you said take your family to different restaurants. Where are you gonna go next week to eat? Or did you go today?
No,
No.
I've been cleaning and cooking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Oh, so
been
you
I've been
cooking. Are
doing.
you good then?
Yeah, today I made a soup.
Mm.
My son enjoys the soup that I make. And we don't. I don't usually take my family restaurant hopping. That was between my son and I. That was a thing that
Oh,
we
okay.
had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think so I guess next week maybe you take him somewhere.
Next, what I've been doing a lot more of is spending time with them,
Yeah.
having a laugh with them. Like
Mhm.
yesterday, my sons and I, we were dancing, we were just blasting music. The neighbor were probably like, oh my gosh, because I think she works overnight. But I was just blasting music, and my sons and I we were just dancing. You know, we were just
Yeah.
having some fun. But I feel like just even conversations or just conversations with the family.
Mhm.
Just talking to them instead of, hey, I got to work on this thumbnail. I got to work on this video. I gotta, no, no, I'm gonna be back to that in a minute. Let me go sit and talk with them. Let me watch a movie with them. Even though
Mhm.
I was doing it, but it was more spaced out because I was
Yeah.
so consumed in everything else. So
Gotcha.
now, like I said, taking time away from taking that stuff away from, I forgot how I said it, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to reinvest that time back into where it needs to be. And that's my family and me getting some rest and some other stuff.
Quality, yeah, quality time. I mean, I think I've seen these messages, all over the whole time we've been talking. Just everyone glad that you're doing better. We're excited for the future of UDM. We're excited for all the stuff you got planned out. Monday, what time?
10 a.m., man. 7
10
a.m.
a.m.
ES out west. If you're in LA, in Cali,
Get up
7
early.
a.m. I know that's early, but you got to get up. You got to have that
Gotta get up.
coffee. You got to have that cereal, oatmeal, whatever. Let's go. We got
Definitely,
to get this money.
definitely. I'm the first one in that room Monday morning. I'll be up with you, man. I appreciate the time. This is one of the best live streams I had, man. Just I appreciate your support. Appreciate you wanting to talk to me, and thank you, man. Thank you very much for opportunity to talk to you.
All right, no problem, Hannibal.
Yeah.
And I do want to invite you on one of my morning shows so we can chop it up, man.
Anytime,
I
anytime.
definitely want to. All
Definitely.
right. I
All right,
appreciate
guys.
y'all. I appreciate you for having
Yes.
me. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Definitely, if you have not hit subscribe, you gotta hit subscribe on this channel. This is a channel that uh matter of fact, I think I need to add this channel to my featured channels on my channel because
Appreciate that,
I
man.
don't know. I just never got it. I just never got to that point. But definitely y'all gotta hit subscribe. He has a lot of great content, and this is this is great, man. So I'm
Appreciate
glad
it.
you're a part of this community, Hannibal. All right,
Thank you, brother.
so
Thank you. Appreciate it.
y'all
Guys,
have a
have a
good one.
nice night. Take care. Take care, guys. Have a good night.